So a couple of months ago I moved home, and the place I moved into comes with a garage, and I'm trying to get that garage set up as a workshop, somewhere I can kind of build and make things. The problem being there's no electricity and there's no lighting down there, and so I'm trying to find solutions to both of those. On the electricity front, I've been using a lot of battery powered tools recently, and they do a pretty good job in most areas. The lighting front's a little trickier. I've tried site lights, things like that, which provide a decent amount of illumination, but they take a lot of effort to kind of bring up and charge every day or every other day. So I'm going to see if I can come up with a solution which makes use of the dewalt 18-volt batteries, which I'm already using for the power tools. So to make all this work, what I have is a 5-meter strip of white LED lights. This is a 12-volt strip, and it's pretty kind of straightforward. Attached to that at the moment, I've got a DC to DC converter. This will take in higher voltage, so 18 volts, which will come out of the battery packs, and convert it down to 12 volts. Then the battery pack is pretty straightforward. This is kind of an 18 volt output. They charge up pretty quickly, so I'm fairly optimistic about the usefulness of this system. And then that powers up, giving me a nice light. To attach to this, what I've found is a battery pack adapter. It takes these kind of slide pack batteries, converts into the old style plug-in battery, and I think if I dismantle this, it should give me a mounting plate, and if I then attach this half to a box or to a wooden plate of some kind, it should kind of give me a good way to kind of manage or handle these. So that would kind of sit on the wall, and I slot that in, that then wires into the rest of this, and the whole thing turns on. When I ordered this, I had expected that I'd need to chop this off with a saw, but it seems to come apart in like the perfect way for what I'm trying to do. So the two parts separated really cleanly, and what I'm going to do is mount this to the lid of a plastic box. So it's a little oversized, but it's what I've got for this, and that will kind of hopefully screw onto the front like so, and then this box can then hopefully again screw onto the wall, and there's plenty of space for the DC converter and a switch on the side. To mount this onto the lid, I'm hopefully going to try and make use of the existing screws and screw holes that the bottom was attached on with. So I finished putting together the enclosure. I've got the battery plate mounted onto the front, and then inside is the DC to DC converter and an output barrel jack connector. The input power runs through a little switch here, and the LED lights will just plug in like so. Now this is kind of a prototype at this stage. I think if I kind of confirm it is workable and usable, I will kind of redo this output connection here. But this is certainly enough for me to kind of set it up in the workshop and see if it's going to do the job. As you can see, it does work. It's not as bright on camera as it is in real life, but it's still not as bright as I'd like. I'm going to experiment with adding in another run and see how that works, but as soon as I do that, my battery life drops from a couple of hours probably down to only an hour, which is not great. So as solutions go, this is acceptable, but far from perfect.